Welcome back to our show. My name is Charles with TV Toastmasters. We invite you. And today on the show we have Tyler Monk. He's here to talk about mindset and development. Mindset and development. Tyler, welcome to our show.
Appreciate it, man.
Nice to have you, brother. Yeah, I'm excited.
To be here.
I'm more excited than you are, I think.
Okay, all right. I'll let you roll with that.
Because we're friends on social media, and we've
Sure.
been discussing. We've been trying to do this thing for some time now, and we're finally meeting in person, the first time in person. So
Yeah.
glad to have you here.
Yeah.
Like everything that you're doing. So
I appreciate
Good.
it, brother. Thank you.
yeah. So who is Tyler Monk? I want to hear your story, your life, how you
Sure.
got to be, because you're a speaker.
Yeah, very much so. You know, I'm an inner city kid. I grew up here in Northeast Portland, moved to La Grande, Oregon, Eastern Oregon with my mother and my sister until I was about 12 years old, and then moved here, went to Ockley Green Middle School, and that was a change in culture. But I adjusted pretty quickly, but I didn't make the adjustment properly when I went to high school. And I went to Benson High School, just a magnet school. You got to apply, you got to write an essay to get in, and really just struggled academically. And for me, the transition was difficult because I was coming from, you know, essentially a school where academics weren't at a premium focus. It was more on getting your social and emotional skills ready. And so I struggled academically and really just didn't try a lot in classes. And then it wasn't until I remember I was having a conversation with my father in a Denny's parking lot, and he asked me, he looked at me, said, "Tyler, what do you want to do with your life?" I said, "Dad, I want to play basketball." You know, that's what all the inner city black kids wanted to do back where I was growing up.
That's true.
And I was like, "I want to play basketball." And he's like, "Well, what's the first thing you got to do?" And I was like, "Well, Dad, I got cut, you know, freshman year. I got to get better." He's like, "Well, you're right, but you also got to get your grades right, because as long as your grades are bad, you know, you're not going to be able to play on that court." So I was able to get my grades right, was able to play on the team, and was very blessed, man, to get a full ride scholarship. I went to Bakersfield Community College in California for a couple of years. Totally new experience, new environment. Really enjoyed it and balled out, played really well, and had about 10 Division I scholarship opportunities. And I ended up choosing to go to Portland State because I was a local kid, and really, you know, I grew up in generational poverty, and I realized I can get a scholarship check and then stay at home and be able to save that money. And then about 2 weeks into that, the coach left, and then so I was out of school for a year.
Wow.
Worked at Subway part-time, and then went ahead and had a connection at Central Washington University, went there and played basketball. And so as you can see, you know, I'm 23 years old, my whole life has been basketball. And so there was an epiphany that I realized when I was graduating from Central Washington with a degree in recreation management that, all right, if I can no longer be a basketball player, I can no longer do what I do, who am I when I can no longer do what I do? And I had to come to a realization that I got to find a career, I got to do something. And so I dove into the first thing that I was passionate about and that I was decently good at, which was working with young people and coaching sports. I did that in Vancouver in the Boys and Girls Club, and then I went to the Vancouver School District, and then found this position at the Portland Leadership Foundation, and I've been there for 3 years. And then about 2 years ago, I started my own company called the Underdog Mentality. You know, got 4 kids. My wife is Guamanian. She's Chamorro, so I've been ingratiated into that culture.
Yeah.
And so, man, I'm just, you know, 34 years now. Going to be 35 here in a few weeks, and I'm really excited about life, man. I'm blessed.
Good.
Yeah.
Really impressed. And we have a
Appreciate it.
similar background too.
Yeah.
From the inner city, from here, went to Jeff, which is not too
Yeah.
far from here.
Yeah.
And we all have that dream, for those that played sports, to make it to the NBA. Have you seen? This is kind of a side thing.
Sure.
But Hoop Dreams, have you seen that?
Oh,
show?
yeah.
Yeah.
I remember Hoop Dreams back in the day.
Yeah. Shattered a lot of dreams, because the idea is that you think you can go to the league,
Yeah.
go to the NBA, but
Sure.
there's so many different challenges that keep you from doing that. And so maybe the hope is that you can go to D1 school or go to college.
Yep.
At least you made it to that point, and it's awesome to see how successful you are.
I appreciate it,
now.
brother.
And good to have you here.
Played one semi-pro game and realized.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
One semi-pro game, didn't get paid, and was like, how's this semi-pro if I'm not getting paid? And so I was done with hoop, hung up the shoes after that, man.
Okay, really cool.
Yeah,
I want to hear
appreciate it.
more about that. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Good to go. I want to
we can talk about that
Maybe
more.
Maybe see some tapes of you playing too.
I mean, if
Oh
you
yeah,
can
we got
find
a friend, Keith Scongers too.
Yeah.
So I interviewed him on a different program that I host, and we talked about basketball. I did not know you all were as close as friends.
Yeah.
And it's something that we can probably talk about later. But you're
sure.
the star now. So let's cover the Portland Leadership Foundation.
Yeah,
What
let's
is
talk
that?
about it.
Because that's something that you also head and manage.
Yeah. So Portland Leadership Foundation, a lot of people know us as PLF. It's really interesting. You know, when I came aboard and I took this position, I met with the CEO. His name's Ben Sand, white male, doing incredible work with the most vulnerable families in our community that I had never even heard about this program, and I'm from this community. And essentially when we sat down, he asked me a question. He said, Tyler, what do you think the college graduation rate is for an African-American male that starts off at community college? 25%, 30%. And he said, Tyler, it's 7%. And I just looked at him stunned. And he said, what are we going to do about that? And it just resonated with me because I was an African-American student that started off at community college, and I was that 7% that ended up getting a 4-year degree. And so the biggest thing for me was I wanted to do something I was passionate about, something that had purpose, and something that was that attached to the lifestyle that I wanted to create. So the culture at PLF is that we are entrepreneurs and entrepreneurial spirited, and we're leaders. We only hire leaders. And so I was all for it. And so when I took this position, what I realized with the PLF is that we work with some of the most vulnerable families, whether that be in foster care, whether that be through our scholarship initiatives or our multicultural leadership development work. And I wanted to be a part of that. I wanted to be a part of something that was bigger than me. So I took that role about 3 years ago. I'm the director currently of Ready to Rise, which is Ready to Rise. We rising up, baby. And it's a leadership development program. We operate out of Clark County, so I'm the only employee for PLF that works in Clark County. And we recruit students of color, first-gen, low-income kids that just want to lead and really want to make leadership more reflective of the community that they come from. And it's really important that we, execute on that work. And so, within that program, what we really try to focus on is developing leaders to give a voice to the voiceless, right? And get them connected to networks and opportunities, what we would like to call as social or network capital that they typically wouldn't have access to just based on how they were brought up. They didn't have family members or parents or cousins or aunts or uncles that were in these industries that they want to be in. And so we want to be those connecting forces that allows them, to build those relationships, build that rapport, and get those opportunities to get them out of the situations that they've been in and then come back and serve in their own community.
I love that. What are some of the industries that they're interested in? Like, what would you say one of the popular industries they're into? That they're into.
Our scholars?
Yeah, your scholars.
Yeah, man.
And maybe share some stories too, how you help some of the young people.
Man, it's interesting. I work with the 16 to 24-year-olds quite a bit. And I would say the thing that these students I would say these young people are really, really interested in is really social entrepreneurship, right?
Really?
As a speaker, you've heard of that. And it's really being an entrepreneur for the good of a community, for a good cause. But they want a lot of autonomy, right? And I think that it can be misconstrued with different generations that they think that, you want autonomy because you're lazy, right? And it's no, they want autonomy because they want creativity. They grew up with a phone in front of their face and they know how to access information and process it. So we have a lot of students that are interested really into the tech field and then to that social entrepreneurial aspect where they want to do good work, right? But they also want to be compensated properly, and they also want to be able to have flexibility to be able to be creative in those spaces. And so, I could tell you about 100 stories, but one specifically that I want to share.
We don't have enough time for
I know. Yeah, we got to keep it. Got to keep this thing moving.
You're doing a good job.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Charles. So essentially, man, I have this one scholar that I've worked with since she was in 7th grade. Her name is Brenda. And Brenda's always been a leader. She's a first-generation high school graduate. Her parents had to drop out of school when they were in grade school. They're from Mexico. They had to work. They had to provide. And then, so she was born here in America, and her parents just wanted nothing but to give her the best opportunities. And she's always just been a go-getter, right? So in high school, I was talking to her as a sophomore, and I was like, man, what can we do here with Gear Up? What kind of leadership things can we do? How can we add value to you guys? And they're like, Tyler, we need something for the Latino families to educate them on financial aid, to educate them on the college process, because our parents want us to do that. They're just scared and they don't know, and there's the language barrier. So her and a couple of other students created a Latino family night, and that continues to run today. And I think we're in year 6. And after she graduated high school, she decided to apply and be in Ready to Rise. And she's working on her nursing degree currently, going to Clark College and about to finish that up. And so, and was also a peer mentor and a coach. And so she's paying it forward by serving and working with these, vulnerable students that need that support and need that peer mentor that can speak life into them to help them succeed.
Good.
That's Brenda. Incredible young lady. Yep.
Great. You got any more stories?
Sure. Another gentleman, Bryce. And again, I think I'm being kind of biased. I hope if when my scholars listen to this, they're not like, why is Tyler not talking about me? I got like 97 of y'all, right? So my young buddy Bryce. Again, I've known Bryce since the 7th grade and was shy as can be, didn't speak a ton, but always loved music, like a music historian, like knows everything about it. Favorite artist is Prince. He loves J. Cole, so he's one of my best friends. Yeah, I mean, he understands this generation is like kind of on some different music that I don't really listen to. But he just has an old soul. And so anyway, he got into in our first program within Gear Up with my old position, he got into our music program. It was called the Biz program. And first time he produced, he made a music video. And then I lost contact with him for 4 years because he went to a different high school. His mom reached out to me his senior year and was really trying to help me advocate for him to come back to the high school with all of his buddies. We were able to get him in the high school. We connected. He applied to be in Ready to Rise. And currently right now, he made the dare. We sat down, and it was about a week before he had to go to college at University of Washington, Tacoma. And he's like, Tyler, man, I'm nervous. Like, I don't know if I can do this move. It's 3 hours away from home. I'm gonna be living on my own. You know, I've never lived on my own. I'm comfortable where I'm at. And I said, okay, are you making the decision based out of fear or based out of the goal that you actually want? And he was like, you're right, it's pretty much fear. And I said, you need to go to Washington. Like, you need to go to UW. Go do it. And now he's entering his junior year. He's also, through the Portland Leadership Foundation, we have a initiative called Emerging Leaders, which is an internship program exclusively for students of color. He applied, he went through our 3-phase process, and he had an internship actually with Portland Leadership Foundation. And he's been working with our Embrace Oregon, which is our foster care initiative where we partner with DHS. And he's just been killing that work in a great way. Very appreciative and getting a ton of experience. And also a caveat, we're on a kickball league team.
Really?
We're actually called the Underdog League, which is interesting enough.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and he ended up pulling a quad. You know what I mean? At 20 years old, so he needs to stretch a little bit more. But
I see.
yeah, he's growing.
Well, you alluded to underdog because that's one of the main reasons why you're here. You talked about
Sure.
the underdog mentality. That is your program. That is what you do. Let's hear more about that. Some of the things or concepts that you cover in your workshops with the underdog.
Sure.
Because when you say underdog, I automatically resonate with that because I felt like I've been an underdog all my life, still to this point. And so I want you to elaborate on on that because I know you cover the why, which is something I cover in my presentations, my seminars, and you cover finance and motivation. So I want to hear more.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Charles. So I think the biggest thing is with the underdog, when I created this, I had this concept, right, that I wanted to impact people, to help them tap into the power of their potential so they can lean into their greatness. Like that was kind of my why. That was kind of my phrase and my tagline. But what does that mean, right? It's kind of ambiguous. It can mean a lot of different things. So I sat down with a good friend of mine who used to play in the NFL, football player, and I was just asking him questions and just sharing my story with him, what I wanted to do. And I said, look, I know what I want to do. I know why I want to do it. I just don't know how I'm going to execute on it. So when I shared that story with him, you know, after 20 minutes of rambling about what I wanted to do, he's like, bro, like, at the end of the day, you're an underdog. Like, you got the underdog mentality. Like, look how much things you had to overcome. And I've always known that, but I would say he put language to my thoughts. And he gave me the ability to communicate what I wanted to build. And so with the underdog, like you said, like so many people can resonate with that. And it wasn't this genius idea that I spent, you know, I got all these, you know, people helping me come up with this idea. It was literally a 20-minute conversation I had with my friend who knows me. And as an underdog, you have everything to gain, but you have nothing to lose because the odds are already stacked against you. You will not win, right? And when your back's against the wall, the only way you can move is forward. And so what I wanted to do, what I wanted to create as a speaker, right, was more of a feeling, right? How people would feel after I left the session. And it's interesting. I just sat down with a gentleman named Demontri, who was at a workshop I did about a month ago at Metro, Oregon. And we were doing a talk there to some of their interns, some of their employees. And it really resonated with him, our talk. And he sent me an email and he said, man, I want to get together. I'd love to connect. Man, maybe you can maybe if you were interested to be my mentor. And for me, that's the reason I do what I do, right? It's not that I don't want to be necessarily, I wouldn't tag myself as a motivational speaker. I love doing that. I'm a motivated person, Charles. You're super motivated.
Yeah.
But, yeah, right?
Sorry.
Oh, it's all good.
Go ahead.
It's all good.
Go ahead.
I think the challenge, though, is like motivation is a feeling, and feelings are fleeting. They come and they go. They ebb and they flow. And when you make decisions when you make decisions purely out of the being motivated, the chances of you creating the results you want are low. Right? And so I wanted to create I wanted to create something that gave more of an inspiration, right? Where motivation is more of like a flicker, right? Where the inspiration is more of a flame and you can keep throwing the lighter fluid on that to keep it going. And so within our workshops, like you mentioned, the 3 workshops that are foundational builders that we do is I always start with the why workshop. And that's really a catchphrase that's been going around. I picked it up from Simon Sinek. I read his book. I listened to his talks, and everything this gentleman talks about, psychologist, leadership development guru, made sense to me. And I was like, why is everybody not listening to this, and why is everybody not living their life through this lens? And so I wanted to deliver a talk, but make it my own. And so when I do the why workshop, it's really 85% of it is me just telling my story. And when I connect with speakers, it's more of sharing stories and connecting them to principles so people can take those tangible things and and apply them to their life. So that's what the why workshop's all about. It's literally me talking about all of the failures that I've had, but through those failures, it's a process of growth, right? And then another workshop that I like to do, that I like to follow that up with, is talking about how to destroy fear and build confidence. And I think that's the biggest thing, is right, understanding like what is fear? You know, how do you connect the idea to what you're afraid of, and how do you remove that? Well, the true facts are, in my own life, you know, fear, you'll never eliminate it. The only way to attack it is just to go straight at it. And so we talk about, I share again, stories, right? Connect those stories to principles and give them strategies to overcome those, and then talk about what helps build confidence. Because you can appreciate this, right? Even as an underdog, I think sometimes when people hear underdog, that you think that person has maybe a low self-esteem and they have a chip on their shoulder. And I look at it as an underdog that has a high self-esteem with a chip on their shoulder, which is an unstoppable force, right? Is what I try to build through my trainings. And the last training that I do with foundational builders, because we offer 3, 6, 9, or 12 sessions, that third session is called Money and How It Works. And transparently, we go through really the 4 different ways legally to make money in America. And I preface this every time I start this session. I am not a financial guru. I ain't got it all figured out. I'm in the process of navigating that myself, but I do have some experience, and I am in 3 of these different quadrants making money. And I understand that there's values attached with how you make money. And I want people to understand that what you value, I always want people to understand, whatever you value is how you should earn money. However you want to earn money, it should be attached to your values. When that happens, I think that gives you much more fulfillment than doing something that's out of alignment with what you believe in. And so that's the biggest concept that I talk about with money. We go through about 80% of it, and they're like, this dude ain't even talked about money one time. Right? Because I'm talking about core values. I'm talking about, how this is relative to the things that you want to accomplish, how we can bring it back to your why, what's important to you, what matters in life, your perspective. And then I finally talk about, here's how money kind of works, right? So it's very interesting, man, working with, I've done that with 8th graders, as young as 8th graders, all the way up to 40 and 50-year-olds, and the same feelings are always there, that it gets them thinking and marinating on those conversations to start to have that self-dialogue with them after they leave, my presence in my workshop.
Good. I cover a lot of the same topics, and I like to hear you speak so I can glean or maybe steal some ideas from you.
Well, I'm gonna start listening to you. I'm trying to borrow some ideas as well.
Okay,
give you credit once or twice, and then it's my ideas moving forward.
For sure, right. How do we stay in contact with you?
Sure, yeah. So I'm on a few social media platforms. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. You can find it all on the Underdog Mentality. So that's the Underdog Mentality. Also my website, theunderdogmentality.net. I'm on all those social media platforms. If I have a personal social media, Facebook, Tyler Monk, you can look me up there, and I operate both under the Portland Leadership and Underdog on there as well.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So you heard Tyler Monk's life, his story, and how he's helping those who are underdogs and how he's helping them with their mindset. We want to thank him for coming to the show. We want to thank you for watching the show. Have an awesome, awesome day.
I joined Toastmasters to improve my speaking, listening, communication, and leadership skills.
Toastmasters gave me incredible confidence.
Confidence.
Confidence. Great listening skills.
Poise.
Great leadership skills.
Leadership skills.
The ability to speak in public.
Strength. A captive audience.
Quality feedback from the more experienced Toastmasters.
Toastmasters really helped me improve my listening skills.
Sales skills.
Opportunities to go to different groups and widen my whole horizon.
Toastmasters has given me a more focused me, and I'm a much better listener. Toastmasters is fulfilling.
It's a great place to fail your way to success.
Wonderful way to meet people.
Networking.
Strength. It's addictive.
It's a club of self-improvement.
It's an experience, it's a ride that you won't forget, and you'll enjoy it every step of the way.
Toastmasters helped me land a kick-butt job.
I sang at one of my table topic speeches, and people liked it and applauded.
My business is doing great, and I'm very, very grateful to Toastmasters.
It's been a great experience for me.
Thank you, Toastmasters.
Thank you, Toastmasters.
Thank you, Toastmasters, for giving me so much confidence.
Thank you, Toastmasters, for everything.
Welcome to an opportunity to take the next step of your professional speaking journey. I want you to be honest with yourself. Have you ever wished you were a star in a television show? Or at an event where the media is interviewing bystanders and you are wanting to be picked to give your opinion of the event? Or even in the smallest sense, you're at a sports game and secretly hope that your smiling face would appear on that big jumbo screen TV? But the jumbo screen always finds the fans with the painted faces. And you think to yourself, maybe next time. Well, what if I can offer you a chance to be on TV? Would you take it? That is what I want to offer you now. I'm Dottie Love, Associate TV Producer and Director. Toastmasters International is one of the largest organizations whose mission is to help improve your speaking skills. And District 7 is expanding your opportunities to do speaking via television. We have 4 fully equipped television studios and TV Toastmaster broadcasts to over 500,000 homes, plus a YouTube channel. Who knew? We want to invite you to take advantage of using media and television, either in front or behind the scenes. Let me share a few options that you have. First, you can be a guest on a show. Highlight your business or hobby or your community interest. Anything you're passionate about. Be a featured guest. Secondly, you can train to be a host on an ongoing TV segment. We will train you for that. Third, what about creating your own talk show? We will train you for that as well and give you access to a community media studio to do just that. Or lastly, be behind the scenes, either running a camera or editing shows. You decide which avenue is best for you, and our TV Toastmasters team will help you to navigate to get the most out of your media experience. Personally, I've done them all. I started as a guest, went to hosting, up to directing my own TV show. I don't tell you this to impress you. I tell you this to impress upon you that your personal growth with Toastmasters is directly related to what you take advantage of. And I encourage you to be bold in looking for opportunities to stretch and grow. If this intrigues you, or if you have club members who you think that might be interested in this, please contact us here at TV Toastmasters. I'm Dottie Love, and you can reach me or any of us in the TV Toastmasters family at the contact information at the bottom of the screen. You can also find us on the web. Our website is 7512.toastmastersclub.org.
Hi, I'm Deb Hart. I'd just like to share with you how appreciative I am of being able to be a TV Toastmaster host. I get to share stories within the community, have people come on the show and educate the viewers, and talk about a subject that I'm very familiar with, and that's health. I encourage you to come aboard and be a part of our TV Toastmasters Host Club. It's fun. You'll have a good time.
Have a story that others need to hear? Seeking an audience for your message? Have an experience that can transform the lives of others? Practice your message and perfect its delivery in a TV studio while creating content for regional, national, and international exposure. That's right, get seen by an ever-increasing audience. Visit TV Toastmasters.
Ken Coombs here speaking about TV Toastmasters. As an area director, I see more value in that venue than perhaps some of you do, so I want to share that. Providing a televised voice for District 7, its clubs, and their members not only gives people a chance to come here and get a project ticked off that says speak on television, it gives contestants in an area contest or a division or a district contest at least a chance to come and practice and see what they look like. It gives people a chance to share an important message with the district, whatever that might be. So consider your next speech perhaps being on television. Not your 15 minutes of fame, but your chance to reach a broader audience.